According to the World Economic Forum, emotional intelligence is one of the most in-demand skills for the jobs of future. In today's fast-paced, constantly changing and increasingly complex world, emotional intelligence is one of the key skills to master. And unlike personality traits, your levels of emotional intelligence can change over time, which means that you have the power to build your emotional intelligence to achieve the results that you want. In today's video, I will share with you steps that you can use to build emotional intelligence. Before we get started, a quick reminder to 80% of you who haven't yet subscribed to my channel to do so now and click on the notification bell icon so that you can see my videos in your feed as soon as they are released. Your subscription helps with channel growth. It lets me know that you find value in the content that I am sharing and inspires me to create more valuable content for you. And now, let's get started. Emotional intelligence is the ability to be aware of your emotions and triggers and respond to them in a positive way. Emotional intelligence is about building your social awareness so that you understand the situations around you, how others might react to those situations, and then using that information to build strong relationships with others. If you want to improve your understanding of emotional responses and reduce stress and anxiety, you must work on developing your emotional intelligence. The first step to building emotional intelligence is to become self-aware. Emotions are complex. They're constructs that determine how you feel about specific situations and, as a result, how you respond to those situations. Experiencing emotions can be pleasant or unpleasant, and it can be intense or mild. Each of us can have a different response to the same emotion. Also, depending on the timing, place, and setting, you can have a different response to the same emotion at different times. Our emotions have the potential to affect our behavior and our relationships with others. A research conducted by Harvard Business Review or HBR shows that 95% of people consider themselves to be self-aware, but in reality, only 10 to 15% of them are actually self-aware. So we overestimate our self-awareness and hence our emotional intelligence. To build self-awareness, you need alone time to introspect. Next time when you face a challenging situation, schedule some time with yourself to reflect on the situation. Make sure that you allow your emotions to settle down so that you can really process the situation. Reflect on how you felt in the situation, and most importantly, ask yourself, why did you feel that way? Is it a particular person or a situation that is a trigger for you? Did you respond in your usual way, or is there something different about this situation? Can you see any patterns emerging? Is there something about the situation that taps into your deeper emotions, such as anger and insecurity? Make a note of all these reflections in your journal. Remember, the goal here is not to change anything about your feelings. The goal here is to bring awareness to your feelings so that you understand yourself better and you understand how to react and respond to those feelings. The second step is to be aware of other people's emotions. In my experience, this is a hard one. While you can try and interpret how others are feeling based on their body language, their choice of words, how they show up in meetings, especially in the work environment, the reality is that most people will show you what they want you to see and might not really ever show their real emotions. This is especially true if you are a team lead or a team manager and you're trying to assess how your team is really feeling. In my experience, team meetings and one-on-one sessions are a really good opportunity to really figure out how your team members are feeling. Observe and listen to learn and not to react in those conversations. Ask them how they are feeling. What is working? What's not working? Be curious to understand their point of view. Look for any signs of discomfort, stress, or anxiety. Your team members will feel heard, they'll feel understood and appreciated simply because you took time to ask them how they are feeling. Being an emotionally intelligent leader helps you understand how your team is feeling and lead them in challenging times. The next step is to disrupt your thought pattern. The key to building emotional intelligence is to understand how you can look at a situation in a positive light and change your reaction to that situation. To do this, you have to disrupt your usual reaction pattern. Let's take an example. Assume that you have had a yet another unproductive conversation with a coworker. Try to approach this situation objectively despite your subjective involvement. Imagine yourself to be a reporter. Step aside from the situation. And this reporter now does not have any prior knowledge or history of facts. So instead of saying my coworker was rude and made the interaction awkward, describe the event neutrally, such as my coworker said XYZ and I responded with A, B, and C. This is where you start challenging your thoughts. Ask yourself if your coworker was really being rude or they were just being direct and you perceived their directness as rudeness. Put yourself in your coworker's place. Could there be external factors that might be influencing their behavior? How can you disrupt your beliefs to see the situation differently? Notice what happens when you disrupt your usual thought pattern and look at the situation differently. Does it lessen your emotional response or stress? Does it prevent further damage to the relationship? The next and the final step in the process is to leverage this new way of thinking to communicate with intention for impact. We often focus on what we want to say, but the true impact is made by how others perceive us and our message. And that's why understanding others' perspective and being flexible on how we communicate with others is the key to creating a win-win situation. Rather than focusing on exactly what to say, before each interaction, focus on your intent. What would you like the other person to take away from the conversation or know? This will make the interaction focused. You'll be able to adapt yourself and change your conversation style depending on the circumstances and how the conversation evolves. If people understand your intentions, they're more likely to listen and engage with you, and you have a better chance of building trust with them. Focusing on the intent also boosts your confidence because now you don't have to focus on memorizing the exact words to deliver the message. People will connect with your intent, the intent that you have behind that conversation. You'll come across as natural and authentic, which is a huge bonus when it comes to building trust. And focusing on the intent also gives you the psychological safety. The key here is to be honest. Think about other person's perspective and remember that effective communication is about how the message is received by the other person. Before you head to your next meeting, pause and get really clear about your intent for the meeting. That one thing that you want to achieve in the meeting or how you want other people to feel after interacting with you in this meeting. Remember that building emotional intelligence takes practice. It's about understanding your calm and trigger emotions, understanding others, redefining your thought patterns, and leveraging these to communicate with a positive intent. So those were the steps on how to build emotional intelligence. If you found this video useful, I would love for you to subscribe. Over 80% of the people who watch my channel have not subscribed yet, and your subscribing would mean the world to me. It's a small gesture, but it makes a whole lot of difference for me. Thank you so much for watching. Have a successful week. Bye-bye.